Star Wars in 2023 was a crazy year. 3 TV series, 1 massive game, and Star Wars Celebration headlined, while the books, comics, and extended universe filled in the gaps. But what does this year mean for the next? Welcome to Star Wars Uplink, your place for everything Star Wars gaming, the TV shows, and the movies. Let's jump in.
Just you reconsider playing that message for him.
2023 in Star Wars was quite the surprise. I feel like we've gotten quite a good showing for Star Wars. We had Mando Season 3, we had Bad Batch Season 2, we had Ahsoka, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and we had Star Wars Celebration, which we were able to go to.
Yeah.
And we had a podcast live on stage. It was crazy. Super fun time. We got to enjoy all the different announcements live in person and see all the different things. It was such a good time. And I feel like we talked about this last episode, but Star Wars in 2023 very much followed similar themes in its content.
Yeah, like we saw a lot of cloning being mentioned. We saw many mentions of Thrawn and the possibility of Thrawn, and then Thrawn coming in the screen, and it was like crazy. Man, what else did we get?
We saw quite a variety in terms of the timelines, but going around very similar themes. If you look at Star Wars as a whole, obviously there's the whole theme of hope that is the core of Star Wars, but on top of that, it was a theme of connectedness and family. If you look at the Bad Batch and the Mandalorian, there's this interconnectedness in terms of let's build the family that we have, let's connect it, and while we may not necessarily all be the same, we are the same in terms of wanting to grow and keep everyone together. There's some things of connectedness and rekindling of friendships if you look at Ahsoka. And if you could say the same of Jedi Survivor, too.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, and Jedi Survivor. So we are all getting this family wrap up here.
Yeah, definitely much more. If we look at this as like a chapter in Star Wars' history, this is the year of family. This is this idea that if you look at the Bad Batch, it's them with their family and creating connection across the galaxy in different corners of that galaxy and trying to stay connected. If you look at Mando Season 3, it was them trying to connect the different sects of Star Wars Mandalorians. If you have the Children of the Watch, Bo-Katan's group, and then just Din and Grogu trying to live their best lives here. You have that, and then you have Jedi Survivor, which talks about the rebuilding of friendships after some time and distance has passed. 5 years had passed, and they were trying to rebuild that friendship and not necessarily pick up where they left off from, but rebuild something new. And I think it's interesting to look at it from that perspective. So we have this different theme, and then Ahsoka in that same kind of thing, very similar themes to Jedi Survivor, where some time has passed, some rifts had been created, and they were trying to heal them and grow past them, and also save Ezra and rebuild that friendship as well. So there's a lot of stuff that happens in Star Wars that was very similar. But looking forward to 2023, I doubt that we're going to get the same level of interconnectedness in terms of the themes that we had for 2023, because I don't think it was intentional. I think that was just a happy little accident. But what are we getting in 2024? Well, we're getting Star Wars Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, Star Wars Outlaws, and Bad Batch Season 3. So very similar amounts of content. Surprisingly. It's like they copied 2023 and then pasted the schedule into 2024. I love that we're getting another Star Wars game this year. I hope that this is just a good sign for the future. So I feel like we've been in a drought of good Star Wars games. And now we're getting Jedi Survivor last year, technically this year, but in 2024 terms, last year. And 2024, we're getting Star Wars Outlaws, which is a very different game, but it's fulfilling a dream that many have had, which is this idea of an open world Star Wars game. So we're getting something interesting there. I think it's going to be fascinating to see what kind of stories that they tell here, because we don't know a whole lot in terms of this, but apparently there's going to be a heist and there's going to be some interesting characters and some planets that are going to be explorable. I think there's like 3, 4, maybe 5 planets planets
Yeah.
that you can explore in Star Wars Outlaws. They have this wanted system.
Even though it's not it's new. It's so new. And
New characters, new worlds, everything.
It doesn't have the reputation that Jedi Survivor did, or at least, Survivor did.
Yeah, Fallen Order coming before. They had similar characters. They knew the first game worked out well. They knew the second game would probably work out well.
Everyone kind of knew what to expect. But with this one, it still feels just as big.
Yes, definitely. It is definitely just as big. I feel like they haven't skimped and made this a $40 game like they did with Star Wars Squadrons. They put in the effort. This is a Star Wars game in all manner of aspects. This is a Star Wars open world game. Might not be as open world as everyone wants it to be, of going to all the different planets, but it's going to be the most open world Star Wars game that we've gotten so far. And the planets are interesting.
Yeah.
Like, there's some diversity there. There's a planet with a city on it. There's a wanted system that's going to make it semi-GTA-like. There's a lot of variety that we at least perceive that will be in Star Wars Outlaws when it comes out next year. And then going on, we have Star Wars Acolyte that will probably be the first show that we get, because I think Skeleton Crew has been confirmed for a late 2024 release.
Okay.
So it'll take up the mantle of the Ahsoka timeline, probably. So and then sadly, Andor has been pushed to 2025. But I'll wait.
Yeah.
Take all the time that you need. Make that just incredible. I'm perfectly fine with that. And Bad Batch Season 3. I'm scared, man.
I know. I don't know if I can handle the third season.
Season 2 wrecked me. And now Season 3, I don't think they're going to be pulling any punches, which is scary.
This is confirmed the last season.
Yes.
Of Bad Batch.
That's what scares me, is it's going to be the last season.
Gosh.
The trilogy of Bad Batches, seasons 1, 2, and 3, with it being the final. It's going to be sad.
Oh, no.
I hope something does come to take the mantle of this animated piece, because the animation has gotten so pretty. And I think it's just an interesting way for them. And I just think it's a good way for them to keep telling these stories that need to be told and should be told, and introduce new characters and arcs and stories, while also keeping some familiarity. I just really want to see that continue, because I think Star Wars needs something like that.
It's been with us for a really long time, the animated Star Wars versions of different stories. I don't see why they would stop.
Yeah.
It would be really, really sad. It would be something lost. Like, it would truly be a lost part of Star Wars if they stopped doing an animated show.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone comes out with something new.
I hope so. I think they kind of need to, just because of that idea and that spot and that place in many people's heart for animation. Many people have gotten into Star Wars from the animation side of things, or they may have known about the movies, they may have watched the movies when they're growing up, but now that something that came out as they were growing up was there, I think that's the beauty of something like animated. It can tell a longer story. We've seen that the standard, unfortunately, length of a Star Wars live action show is 8 episodes, with Andor being a standout at 12. But Bad Batch, 24 episodes, 26 episodes, you can tell different stories with that amount of time. And I think I personally would love to see it continued. And then looking at Skeleton Crew, I am very excited about Skeleton Crew. Acolyte, I'm probably the most excited for, but Skeleton Crew, I am very hopeful for. I got to watch the trailer at Star Wars Celebration. It looks good. It's not something with huge stakes, but it is going to change how we perceive Star Wars, I feel. I think it's going to open up the pathways for some different stories to be told, or different kinds of stories.
Interesting. Would you say the same thing about Acolyte?
I think so, but in a different way.
Yeah.
I think Skeleton Crew shows how small scale of a Star Wars thing you can have that is very genre-based. It is pulling directly from this idea of like the Goonies and Stranger Things-esque, very focused in its viewpoints. And then I'd say Acolyte is doing something similar in terms of telling a new idea and new example of something in Star Wars, but it's going to play it a little bit more I wouldn't say safe, but I think it's a more clear shot that more people are going to enjoy it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they're playing it safe, but I think more people are going to be interested in Acolyte than in Skeleton Crew because you have the draw of the dark side.
Right. Do you think it's going to be because of like the more matureness of Acolyte?
I think so, just in terms of it being more gritty and gruesome and how they've been marketing it and saying this is a dark side-led experience. I think that's what's going to draw people in. But I think Skeleton Crew may have like the longevity and may have the opportunity for some like accolades. Because you've got Jude Law, who is a very good actor, leading a TV series based in Star Wars. It's interesting.
I think say no more.
I think 2024 is going to be a very experimental year for Star Wars. And I think they're going to push the boundaries of what we expect when we see and talk about a live action Star Wars thing.
I'm excited. I'm ready for something a little new, a little edgy, a little unexpected, a little je ne sais quoi.
Yeah. When you look at this list, what are you most excited for?
I would probably say, I don't know. I'm really excited for the game, honestly, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But probably Acolyte is what I'm most curious about. I feel like we really haven't gotten a whole lot of information out of it. And it's just, I'm just here for it. Yeah, give it to me.
Yeah. I'm probably most excited for Acolyte, but I think long term, we're going to be talking about Outlaws a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to have any groundbreaking lore or anything. I don't know necessarily say we're going to be talking about it on the podcast all that much. But obviously, we are going to talk about it on the podcast.
Obviously.
But it's going to be one of those things that you get to play and you get to explore and you get to make your own experiences in. I think that's fun.
I would say I'm also the most hesitant about Acolyte too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, just with how they've been playing with the dark side of late.
Yeah.
Tentative.
I'm just happy that they're saying that they're going to have the light side as the dark side. Like they're going to be the villains.
Bad.
Yeah. The villains of the story are going to be the Jedi. And screw the Jedi. They suck.
It's about time we had a different perspective.
This is coming from a rebel sympathizer. The Jedi have had their time in the sun. They successfully ruined everything in the prequels. We're going to see them at the height, but also probably at their weakest in Star Wars Acolyte. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity there for some really interesting storytelling, utilizing this flipping of the tables, really.
Which is also why I'm nervous. Because it's like, it could be so much, but also, I don't want to get my hopes up for it. It's already too late, though.
I'm just excited for all of the projects, really. Everything's different or new. This will be the first High Republic TV series that we've had. This will be the first time that we have an all-original cast in a TV series since Mandalorian. Wow. And Bad Batch is going to rip our hearts out.
Yep.
And this will be the first time that we're getting an open world Star Wars game. So
big year. Very
big year for a lot of variety and a lot of interesting things that I think we're gonna be talking about for a while. I think whatever Acolyte does is going to change how we perceive the dark side and the light side. Because this will be the first time that we've seen the Jedi explicitly called out as the villains of the story. So obviously it's alluded to, and the actions, the failing of the Jedi Order is through their own pride. That's their downfall. Their hubris was what brought them down. But that's more reading through the lines, really.
Right.
This is explicitly the good guys are the villains. And I'm excited about that. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube, or contact uplinkpodcast.com if you are listening to this wherever you find podcasts. As always, thanks for listening, and may the Force be with you.